Sup? How we doing? How we doing? I'm back with another episode of Truth Be Told. Oh my gosh. I don't even know where to start. I don't even know where to begin. I don't know where to end. It's Tuesday, and I'm already wishing that it was Friday, starting yesterday at 9 a.m. Seems to be a recurring theme in my life. I just need to get out. Can someone help me? I don't know what to do. I mean, yesterday, or no, not yesterday, Saturday, I told Kelly I was just gonna, I was just gonna let her out, drive the car into the tree. Also frustrated because people don't understand what the right of way means. Another New England woe that we have talked about. But that's just one of, many frustrations. Working from the men is obviously the biggest frustration. If you have that 9 to 5, you know what I'm talking about. Trapped in that cube all fucking day. Working from breadcrumbs that are dropped on the floor. Drinking the sweat from rich balls guys. That didn't sound right. Drinking the sweat from rich guys' balls. There we go. That sounds a little better. Now we can laugh about it. I guess since I already fucked up the joke, though, it's not very funny. And I'm not going to edit it out. Doesn't matter. You get the point. If you've ever made the mistake of looking at your pay stub and then seeing how many tax dollars are going to shit that you don't really support, that they think they need to spend money on, then you've probably felt my pain before. But yeah, I gotta get out. I gotta figure out how to get YouTube famous. Now I know that's not gonna happen overnight, but I feel like if I dedicated any amount of effort that I applied in my 9 to 5 to becoming YouTube famous, we could at least get to a point where maybe I wouldn't, have to work in a cube. That would be pretty sick. And I don't even have to work in a cube. I work from the confines of my own home. But it doesn't matter if you're inside or outside of the cube. You still have to deal with idiots day in, day out. It never stops. You're always picking up someone's slack. It's like 30% of the workforce is doing 100% of the work. That's it. I mean, 70% of people aren't doing jack shit. And then once someone figures out that you could do someone else's job, then guess what? You signed up for it. And heaven forbid that you ask for money. Because you know what happens when you ask for money. They always try to make you feel sorry for asking for money. They're like, well, right now we're not making our numbers, and we just gave you a raise a year ago. We know it was only 3%, but right now we just don't know. We just don't know if we can do that for you. Well, I got a solution for you. How about you fire some of these motherfuckers that aren't doing anything? Then you can give me their money. I'm already doing their job anyway. Why don't we just give me the money? I'm more than happy to do it. I'm already doing it for equal pay. So, anyway, it's kind of, been on the brain today. Probably just a frustrating Monday that's turned into a frustrating Tuesday that will turn into a frustrating Wednesday. And then Thursday will be okay because I don't have to work on Friday. And I think this rant is also coming off the back of On Call. If you've ever had to participate in that, it's not very fun either. But anyway, Friday, we will be escaping, having a nice little 3-day weekend, so it won't be too bad, I don't think. The real reason I wanted to make a video today is because I want to talk about the truth about marriage. Marriage, that beautiful, beautiful M word. Some of you cringed, some of you laughed, some of you might have even cried. But everyone, single and or married, can agree on one thing. They want no part of it. That seems to be the stereotype anyway. I think there's two main stereotypes when it comes to marriage. And you have, two friends that are in these situations. One, they'll say, marriage is a trap. Don't do it, bro. Don't get married. You're signing yourself up for a life of torture. She's going to lock you in the basement and throw away the key. Your balls are going to be on that mantle. Yeah, well, that happens. Most Most balls are on a mantle somewhere in a household, whether you can see them or not. And then the other stereotype is, once you get married, bro, you're never going to have sex again. Only on anniversaries, only on Valentine's Day if you're lucky, blah, 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 blah. And it just goes on and on about how you're just never going to get laid again, which, I mean, I guess that's true for some people. But I think that's more of a lack of being together for a while and the passion kind of wears off and then you have to actually start working at a relationship. But anyway, we can get into that in a second. Let's break down that first stereotype. Marriage is a trap. You're going to have to be with her forever. Yeah, that's the oath you take or the vows you make or commit to when you get married. That's the fucking point. So if you don't want forever to be forever, then I'm going to advise you to stay single. Because I think a lot of people that are trapped in this marriage trap, they're like, it's going to be forever. I'm going to have to be with the same person forever. Are married to the wrong person, not giving any effort into the relationship, or they settled. And I see that a lot, actually, in a lot of the marriages that surround me, or a lot of the relationships that I come into contact with. It seems like most people are settling. Now, I think people like the thought or idea of being in a relationship, and obviously no one wants to be alone. That's pretty, true all the way around. Loneliness is not fun if you're a human being, which if you're listening to this, you are. Loneliness is never fun. So I think people start shaving stuff off their personality and saying, hey, yeah, I can make this sacrifice and not be myself in this way in order to be with this person. And I think, once you start getting into it and the relationship goes on, or as the relationship gets more serious, you're always like taking those little pieces away. And then by the time you get, 5 years into a marriage or 5 years into any relationship, you've sacrificed a lot of your personality. And then the next best thing, because you don't want to go out and have to put in groundwork and start dating again and all that stuff, is just to settle and get married. And I think that's one instance of where that stereotype applies. The other instance where marriage is a trap is, I think a lot of people, and this kind of goes hand in hand with settling, I guess, they're in relationships for either A, the wrong reasons, or B, they are trapped because they are too dependent on the other person, or vice versa, the other person is too dependent on them, and then they don't want to leave because they feel like if they leave, they're going to ruin that person's life. Well, I got news for you. That is not how it should work. Everyone should be able to be independent of themselves inside and outside of a marriage, and that will make both of you be able to be semi-dependent on each other, but not completely dependent on each other. Because once someone is completely dependent on another individual, that's where resentment usually comes in, and then following resentment is jealousy, unhappiness. The list goes on, and then you just have a bunch of unhappy people. Now, the other stereotype, marriage equals no more sex life. Well, I mean, this could be for a lot of different reasons, but I think one of the main reasons is, when you first get into a relationship, not necessarily a marriage. Now, I know some of you, due to religious purposes or pure insanity purposes, are waiting till marriage, which is fine. So, excuse me. I gotta get some water. My throat hurts. And now I'm choking on water. All right. Anyway, where was I? Oh, I'm not going to actually go down the road that I was talking about that doesn't matter. Okay. So when you first get in a relationship and you guys decide to participate in sex, whether it's inside of marriage, outside of marriage, before wedlock, out of wedlock, blah, 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 it's always Like those first few months, even maybe that first year, it's every day, baby. It's all the time. It's the passion, it's the spark that when you're first discovering a new person and getting an emotional connection and a physical connection, everything's firing on all cylinders. Especially when you're like 21 and 22, you just can't get enough of that shit. As you get older, or as the relationship evolves, or gets not gets stagnant, but moves in other directions, and people want to do their own things inside the marriage, sex can often fall by the wayside, which is unfortunate. But there are there's some people that don't aspire to be, necessarily sexually active as the other partner. But the problem that we run into is that no one ever wants to talk about it because they think that they are going to hurt someone's feelings, which I get it, but that's utterly ridiculous. If you're going to spend your life with this person, you tell them that you love them and that you'll be trustworthy and you'll be respectful, but that means you should be having the conversation. So I think that most people run into this problem with no more sex life is either A, because they talk to all their friends in front of their girlfriend or in front of their wife and say, well, I'll never get laid again. And you can't be saying that shit in front of people. That's how you for sure don't get laid again. That's for sure how you don't get laid again. Talk to your wife about it. Talk to your significant other about it. Tell them what needs you have. Tell them what wants you have. Tell them what desires that you have. That is not a for sure way to keep your sex life going, but it's a for sure way to have an open line of communication. And there's nothing sexier than an open line of communication, in my opinion. Of course, I'm not a doctor. I don't have a PhD. Don't hold this as truth. But also, speaking of truth or guides, don't buy into thinking that there's one given guide or the top 10 things you can do to have a happy marriage. That's different for everybody. You just need to make sure that you aren't sacrificing who you are. You have to make sure that you are putting in effort, because relationships are hard. Relationships are not easy. That's why I hate it that most people can just say, well, 3 years is up, we're not happy anymore, and they just walk away. If you're going to make a commitment to somebody, do it. And make sure that you keep putting in effort, because there are definitely ups and downs in life, ups and downs in jobs, ups and downs in happiness. But there's definitely, like, we look at marriage and we think there's not going to be an ups and downs, like everything should be hunky-dory all the time. I just want to remind you to keep that line of open communication with your spouse about sex, about love, about respect, about the children if you have them. Just make sure that you're always communicating. That is the key to almost anything, is communication. And off the back of that, I think tomorrow we'll be bringing in my wife. This is her area of expertise, as we would say. # reading between the legs. If you haven't already checked it out, please check it out. But I think I am going to interview her, let her beat me on the head with a club verbally, most likely. And then she can tell you the woes that she has with me. Maybe I'll make some jokes about it. As usual, that's how I deal with life. And sadness is make jokes about it. No, I'm just kidding. There's nothing sad about my marriage at all. But I think I want to bring her on, and I think she can give us a lot of insight into, the education and the things that she has to deal with when she sees people not communicating properly and stuff like that. So I think tomorrow, 8 p.m., maybe 7 p.m., we'll be live somewhere on Facebook, most likely my YouTube channel, maybe hers, I do not know. But we're going to, for the first time, be truth be told together as one. So I think it's going to be really exciting, really interesting stuff. I mean, I'm not the most interesting person, but my wife makes me interesting. So I'm looking forward to that. All right, we'll talk to you guys later. Peace.